avocado.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're welcome to another episode of The Young God, a podcast for the gods. I'm your host Rodney Omokache, and it's good to have you with me. Corona is still doing the most, the absolute most. It has affected every aspect of our lives, leaving no stone untouched, leaving nothing unscathed. Ain't nobody safe. But of all the ways we have been affected by the virus, I am currently feeling for the class of 2020, whose graduation is in the thick of Corona season. I remember how back in the day, I was looking forward to my graduation. And I'm sure you can all relate, all the work it took to get to that fateful day, all the plans and high hopes. But then for these kids, only to have the world shut down mere months to your big day. Because of social distancing and lockdown, graduation ceremonies around the world have all but been cancelled. But then somehow, celebrities around the world got involved. They contributed their voices and their time to give the class of 2020 a graduation they will not soon forget. I mean, it warmed my heart seeing celebrities like LeBron, Obama, Steph Curry and co. do the most for these kids. Obama's commencement speech was particularly perfect. So perfect, it got me thinking about the commencement speeches I've sat through both as a high schooler and as a university graduate. What would I have liked to have been told then that would make a big difference in my life today? And then it hit me. If I were asked to give a commencement speech, if I were invited by some school somewhere to give a commencement speech to these kids, to this class of 2020, what would I say? What would I tell a child just about to enter the world? Not just any world, but a world after COVID-19. And so I decided to write and recite what I thought would be the ultimate commencement speech for the class of 2020. Now, based on the analytics of my podcast, it's safe to assume that not a lot of 15 to 17-year-olds will hear the speech. Unless, of course, you share this with anyone you might know who fits that age bracket or who happens to be graduating this year. But the good thing is that the message is still relevant to you old people, to you old folk. I would recommend that you put your imagination to work for this one. Try to imagine yourself as a high schooler on graduation day, listening attentively to a bearded intellectual, giving you the ultimate send-off. I promise you, this will bang. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our commencement speaker, Rodney Omokache. Round of applause, please.
Dear class of 2020, congratulations on reaching this milestone. Your journey has been long and hard and testing. Unfortunately, it is nothing compared to what is to come. You have all seen nothing yet. I am sorry to be the bringer of bad news on this beautiful day, but life only gets more difficult from here and the challenges will keep coming. You will soon realize with everything you know right now, you really know nothing, Jon Snow. You will soon realize that even though school taught you 1,000 things, very little is of actual importance to living life itself. They don't teach you how to love. They don't teach you how to be famous. They don't teach you how to be rich or poor. They don't teach you how to walk away from someone you no longer love or someone that doesn't love you. They don't teach you how to understand people, how to intuit what they are feeling or thinking, or even how to understand yourself. They don't teach you what to say when someone is dying. They don't teach you anything worth knowing. And so, your lifelong mission, from the moment you leave this place, is to close that gap as quickly as possible. Read books, watch movies, watch TV shows, not just for the entertainment value, but for the very real lessons they hold. Live vicariously through those characters you come across. Actively apply the things you learn, internalize them, use them to close the knowledge gap. Learn as much as you can by yourself before experience forces you to learn the hard way. Of course, sometimes the only way to learn is the hard way, but try to minimize those because you are human and you can only take so much pain, heartbreak, and disappointment. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you've got to wake up and pay attention. So pay attention, pay close attention to what I'm about to say to you today. There are certain areas in life that will give you the most problems if you're not careful. I'm about to tell you how you may handle them. First of all, sex. Notice how some of your parents have shifted in their seats. Dear parents, I know some of you may not be too thrilled about me mentioning sex to your kids on this beautiful day, but this is very important. It is one of those things school has failed to adequately prepare them for, and it is likely the first thing they will be eager to experiment with as soon as they are far from your watchful eyes. That and alcohol. I shall start with sex. Dear class of 2020, sex is by far more than what you've seen in the movies and heard in the songs. It is not just how babies are made. It is extremely complex. It is connected to everything: family, children, emotions, mental health, love, money, power, and respect. It is a force of unlimited possibility, and no one, none of us, not even your teachers or your parents, knows the rules. One misstep and it will complicate your life in a million ways. Wear protection. Be extremely prejudiced and selective with who you get in bed with. And don't do it because others are doing it. Do it because you are ready and it makes sense in the moment to you. Control sex. Don't let it control you. Then you must understand consent. Sex is the cousin of consent. Consent is when two people agree and give each other permission to be sexual with each other. Again, no one knows the rules, but I'll keep it simple. Ladies, be articulate and precise about your consent or lack thereof. Men, follow her lead. Women, be mindful of the situations that can leave you vulnerable. Men, do not take advantage of a woman in her vulnerable state. But perhaps the best advice I can share concerning consent today is this: get to know people before you sleep with them. Spend quality time. The sex is not going anywhere. All things being equal, you shouldn't even sleep with someone you barely even know. Take your time, get to know a person, and you will avoid all kinds of blunders when you control your sexual urges. Do not let it control you. With alcohol, know your limit. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and sex either, because consent becomes difficult to give when a person is drunk or not themselves. Don't overdo it. It can kill you or it can ruin your skin. And if you ask me, the later is worse. Men, learn how to treat women. Any man who doesn't appreciate femininity and womanhood is dull, stupid, and just has bad taste. Period. Try and make yourself welcome in the company of older, mature women. Make friends with them. Pass as much time as you can with them. Otherwise, it would be impossible to get rid of those 1,000 bad habits you pick up in boyhood. Ask their advice. Tell them your doubts and difficulties, and they will surely wisen you up and point you in the right direction. Without such women, few men can succeed in life. Yes, they say behind every great man is a woman. But this woman must not always be your wife. As long as she's strong and wise, you will be set for life. Ladies, contrary to popular belief, you are the superior sex. First of all, you live longer, and biologically, that is the most important thing. Second, you possess something that all the physical strength of man can never match. Something that all the logic of man can never fathom. You have so much untapped power and divinity and superiority, but it is not to be accessed without struggle and time. Sometimes I think God made life difficult for women, both socially and biologically, so that you might become the goddesses you truly are. I want you to know that there are levels to womanhood, and you don't earn the term woman simply by being female. You earn it in how you carry yourself, the things you overcome, and most importantly, by never depending on a man for anything. Why would you depend on someone who is inferior to you? Really and truly, men are the ones who need you. And the wise men know it, and the wiser women know that as well. Keep this in mind and the world will be yours. Another thing they don't tell you is how to pick a partner. This is so important because the quality of your life depends on this singular decision. When picking a partner, be it business or life partner, look at their character. What are they made of? How do they respond to pressure, to tragedy? Do they keep their word? How do they treat others, especially those they do not need? Do they know how to disagree? Do they know how to negotiate differences intelligently and with tolerance? Beyond physical beauty and finances, you must keep an eye out for these things because the quality of your life is largely determined by your ability to attract and keep high-quality people. Money, cash, currency, that is another beast that no one prepares you for. Like sex, you can either control it or let it control you. What I'm about to say is very important, so listen closely. By all means, make money. Make as much of it as you possibly can. But never, ever place it at the top of your values or priorities. Never let the size of your bank account determine your worth as a human being. And don't let it determine how you treat others. You don't even need too much money, just enough to solve your problems. Too much will kill you. Once you do things solely for money, God leaves the room. You will make all kinds of mistakes, blunders in the pursuit of it, and you will never be happy. Remember, placing your sense of self on things that finish is true poverty. Being broke is temporary, but poverty is a state of mind that can last forever. Finally, as I wrap up this speech, I cannot overstate what I'm about to tell you. Learn to think. Learn to think for yourself. Learn to think well. Think effectively, critically, and creatively. Thinking helps you act effectively in the world. Thinking helps you win the battles you face. If you can think, speak, and write, you are absolutely unstoppable in this world. Lots of people have been staggeringly successful off of their ability to think. If you can formulate arguments coherently and make a presentation, if you can speak to people, if you can plan and prepare, if you can put together a proposal, people will give you all the money and opportunities in this world. You will influence people without breaking a sweat. Remember, your mind is the most powerful weapon in the universe. Treat it as such. Use it as such. Thinking is what activates it. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. But I would go as far as to add that either tool will be deadly in the hands of a man or woman who can think. Class of 2020, there's so much more I could tell you that one speech could never contain. But I challenge you to go out there and figure it all out by yourself. Keep learning, keep thinking, keep developing yourself. Life is a self-education. Once you stop learning, you die. If you fail 10 times, keep trying, keep searching for where you fit in. As life keeps getting harder, you must keep getting stronger, faster, smarter, and wiser. Put love over fear in all your decisions and interactions. Try stuff, be curious, don't wait for inspiration or society's approval. Again, pay attention. Attention is currency. It connects you with others. It connects you to solutions. If you can pay attention to your surroundings, to people, to yourself, you cannot lose. And never forget the reason you're missing out on a proper graduation ceremony on this day. It is because the unremarkable men who run the world failed to heed the warning and prepare us for the virus. They knew what was coming long in advance, and they failed to act. You are all paying for their sins of omission. Let the injustice and insanity of this entire pandemic be a reminder to all of you what happens when you turn willfully blind, when you stop paying attention, when you fail to stop, think, and act. I pray you live well, love well, and fill in the gaps in your own way. I wish you all nothing but the best life has to offer. And one more thing, don't forget to breathe. Till victory. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram at The Young God Pod and on Twitter at I Am The Young God. Do subscribe, share, and see you guys soon, okay? Have a good life. Class of 2020 out.